we go, guys. Game number 1, oGsVines against Nerchio. It's going to be a Zerg versus Protoss, and we finally have a European facing one of the Koreans in the NASL Season 2 qualifier. Nerchio just started on Terminus at the 9 o'clock start position, whereas his opponent, the Protoss player, spawned at 12 o'clock. And this is going to be a pretty cool game. Nerchio is one of the strongest Zerg players in Europe right now. He admitted earlier in the lobby that he didn't train all too much, that he didn't have time, but still I expect that he will give his best and try to defeat oGsVines. The first game, it's best of 3, and as you can see, the Protoss player sends one of his probes out pretty soon, gets the pylon at 9 supply and starts scouting, as does his opponent. The Overlord is already on its way. The players are using different accounts. The games are taking place on the North American server, so don't be confused by the names that you see on the screen. The overlay is correct. It's oGsVines against Nerchio. And the Protoss player is pretty lucky with his scouting. He gets a perfect scout at the first position that he moves his probe to, and just is looking what's happening in the main base of his opponent. So far, Nerchio doesn't build a pool. He's on 14 supply right now. There's an additional lava. Is he going for the hatch on 15? Doesn't look like it. Right now, he builds his spawning pool right away at the first building, and of course, the probe is at the natural expansion, just trying to block off any expansion attempt of the European player. And right now, obviously that's the account that Vines is using. So oGsVines is trying to get that Nexus first, and as you can see, Nerchio is just harassing him, trying to block that off and delaying that expansion quite a bit. Very, very well done by Nerchio. This isn't the start that Vines was hoping for, and as you can see, he's still able to block that off, and now oGsVines has decided to get his forage first to delay the Nexus, and here we go. The expansion of the Protoss player is being built. Well done by Nerchio. And now what is he doing? He's actually pulling all his drones. He's pulling all his drones and he's attacking. What the hell is going on? He has 15 drones against 17 probes, and we have 6 lings on the way. There's 1 queen being built. I think he can cancel the queen. I mean, he has still 2 drones mining, but still, what does he want with the queen? And there they go, the cannons, all those photon cannons and 2 gateways. And there is just no way that Nerchio can break through that wall. And so, yeah, well, he decides on rallying the drones back into his base. I've never seen something like that. He's just trying to kill the Protoss player right away, sees the wall off, and is like, what the hell is going on? Okay, this is not going to happen. Let's run back into the base. And of course, this is not an ideal start for Nerchio. After he was able to block that expansion, Vines simply completed the wall off. The drone was not able to block it, and then he cancels one of the gateways and puts down a cybernetics core instead. So this is really interesting, and I think that he was forced to cancel his Nexus as well. I didn't actually see it on the map, but I can see the Nexus is not even halfway done. So apparently he canceled the Nexus when he realized what was happening with this drone. He built all those wall-off buildings, and then he started the Nexus again. Yeah, well, quite a nice opening. This is pretty interesting. So at least Nerchio was able to delay that expansion even further, but he lost a lot of mining time as well. And yeah, this was pretty funny. This was really, really funny. And this is going to be a very interesting game. We have 21 drones against 19 probes right now, and those Zerglings are just trying to sneak into the base of his opponent, but as you can see, there is still 1 photon cannon in place, so he won't be able to break through, and there are no rocks in the back on this version of Terminus, so there's just no way that he can just attack the rocks while there are no units for mines. And he's going for a Stalker as the first unit in the game. He's trying to chrono boost the Stalker. The expansion is up for the Protoss player, and the hatchery for the Polish Zerg player is nearly done as well. We have the speed on its way, and another bunch of drones being morphed. As you can see, the Echo slide is already on its way as well. And let's have a look at the unit counts. We have 26 to 25 to 29 workers, actually. A couple of lings, 2 queens against the Stalker. There's not too much happening. And a Roach Warren coming up. There's 1 Overlord hovering at the base of the Protoss player, just scouting and having a glimpse of what's happening. As you can see, oops, we have a lot of minerals being harvested for Nerchio, a little bit more gas for the Protoss player right now. He already has 2 assimilators, and I think he built another one. Yes, he did, as expansion, and there's the 4th assimilator coming up as well. Let's have another look at what the Zerg player is doing. His Roach Warren, where is it, is nearly done. Yep, here we go. First Spine Crawler being built as well. And a 3rd expansion coming up. The 3rd hatchery being built. And in the meantime, we have this Stalker just walking outside the main base, just staying in range of the photon cannon, just in case the Zerglings are trying to hit. And we have those 2 sentries defending the wall off. And Nerchio right now is not too comfortable against Protoss. The thing is that I think he's on the same opinion as Idra is, that Zerg is not supposed to beat Protoss. We'll see about that. I certainly hope that he's able to take at least 1 map. I would love to see 3 maps between those 2 players. And of course, it's always a little bit, well, exciting if you see a European player facing a Korean, and you kind of cheer with the European player nonetheless. So right now the Stalker already has its 2 kills, is a killing automaton as well, if I saw that correctly. That's actually not a very nice thing to do. And a lot of gateways are coming up, so basically what the Protoss player can do, he can either go for attack, and he's going for the robotics facility, but he's adding a lot of gateways as well. He's on 5, he will be on 5 gates in a second. He's not getting a 3rd base just yet, but there's already a pylon and a 2nd pylon on its way, so there will be a Nexus fairly soon. The 3rd base for Nerchio is already up and running. Both players are on roughly 65 supply. We have 50 drones right now against 48 probes, so regarding the worker count, they are fairly even. The +1 attack upgrade being researched for the Protoss player, and Nerchio himself, he's going for additional gas, getting those extractors. He's going for the Spire as well, and just trying to get a decent force. His creep spread is not all of that good so far, not very impressive. He has, I think, 3 queens, yeah, 3 queens, and is getting an evolution chamber. The Spire is halfway done. We have 1 active creep tumor. He doesn't actually spread his creep very far right now, and that's one thing that I don't like about his play right now. But still, he has quite a lot of Zerglings on the map, and it's just getting all those Xel'Naga Watchtower, and just trying to deny an additional base, try to see when the Protoss player is actually moving out. There's still only 1 cannon, but there are a lot of sentries, and what oGsVines is trying to do right now, he's trying to get Colossus. That's actually why he's researching the +1 attack upgrade first and not relying on armor. If you go on a Colossus heavy play, you generally try to maximize your damage output, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. There are 2 Stargates coming up as well, so we can expect additional Void Rays. And Colossus and Void Rays are a very, very strong combination, very hard to deal with if you're a Zerg player. It's actually a lot easier to defeat that combination if he sticks with it, with Mutalisks than with Corruptors, because Void Rays kind of counter Corruptors if they are not, if there's not a really, really big number of Corruptors. This is pretty hard to deal with, and it's actually a style that was used a few, well, weeks, maybe even months ago, and a lot of the Protoss players have been very successful with it, but you need at least 3 bases to pull it off, because those units cost a lot of gas. There are some Stalkers in the mix as well, and the Mutalisks are being repelled by them, trying to harass, but there are the Zerglings as well, just trying to kill off that Forge, not being able to do that, and Vines is ready for that. He's ready for that, just placing down all those force fields, trapping the Zerglings, and the cannon takes them out 1 by 1, 11 kills already. And that's the whole position, but he's losing nearly all of them. So 14 kills for the cannon right now. We have a 4th base for Nerchio, and we have a Dark Shrine coming up. And actually, the Protoss player is not going for those. He's not going for those Void Rays. He's going for Phoenixes to counter all those Mutalisks. Let's see how many Mutalisks there are. There are 12 Mutalisks. Phoenixes are very, very good against Mutalisks because they are a little bit faster. They can shoot while they're moving, but you need a lot of micro for that as well. And as soon as the Zerg player hits a certain amount of Mutalisks, roughly around 20, then the Phoenixes can be in a lot of trouble. and because they get basically like one-hitted, and every time you get too close to the Mutalisk, you lose one Phoenix, but still, with good micro, you are able to take out quite a lot of the air units of the Zerg player. There are no upgrades for the Phoenixes just yet. He's not even trying to get upgrades, and there are the Mutalisks once again, but 3 cannons are in place. The next Stalkers are being warped in. He's trying to take them out immediately, just focusing them down. And where are all those Phoenix? They're not even attacking. Some probes are being killed as well, and the Mutalisks are retreating. 3 additional gates being built by Vines, and we have the Zerg player getting a 5th base right now. So he's trying to out macro his opponent, getting as many bases as possible. He's on 80 drones right now against 56 probes, and there come the DTs. So DTs for oGsVines. What about detection? Do we have any detection for the Zerg player? It doesn't look like it. I can see no spore crawlers whatsoever, and the DTs are already on their way. There's the 5th base by Nerchio just being built, and there are the first spore crawlers. The first spore crawlers are being built by the Zerg player from Poland right now. And let's have another look at that attempt to kill the Protoss player, at least do some damage, maybe take all the photo cannon, all the forage, and then deny the upgrades. Very, very well done. Nice, only taking a few hits, but here are all those Phoenixes. And what's happening now? The Mutalisks are actually fighting. In the meantime, the Dark Templar reached the expansion, and here comes that small death ball by the Mutalisks, but there are not enough. There are too many Phoenixes out on the field for oGsVines right now. The Mutalisks get cleared, and as you can see, one of the Dark Templars is already attacking the base of Nerchio. The second one and the third one are also attacking the Zerg player's economy, but there weren't too many drones at those expansions, and only 3 and 5 kills for the DT. Not really worth it, but where's the detection? There's only one spore crawler coming up, but at the same time, we have the Zerg Protoss player moving out, killing those overlords, and there's a huge number of Stalkers right now. He's on 20 Stalkers and 8 of those Phoenixes as well. What is Nerchio able to do against that army? He's only in 46 army supply against 76. It's the first game between those two players. Still, we have Nerchio against oGsVines, and the expansion survives. It survives with 50 hit points. That's basically 2 hits, and another one coming up right away from Nerchio. He's just expanding all over the place. But those Dark Templar finishing off the expansion, trying to rebuild it, and there are the Phoenixes once again. One of them already down, and there are all those Stalkers. Are the Zerglings enough to deal with them? 1-1 upgrades for the Zerglings, no upgrades. The 1 attack upgrade actually for the Stalkers, that's about it. And right now the Protoss player is rebuilding his forge. He's rebuilding his forge, and Nerchio relying on banelings, and that's a lot of them, to be honest. We have 10 banelings on the field already. 20 additional ones are being morphed right now. The baneling speed coming up, overlord speed as well. He wants to drop them right on top of that unit mix of the Zerg player. And of course, we have additional Zerglings being built. What about those upgrades? I really would love him to research additional upgrades, but his evolution chamber is not doing anything right now. He has a lot of minerals. He just cancelled some units or buildings apparently, because it was down on 0, and then suddenly he spiked up to 700. As you can see, that expansion got taken out as well. Both of them actually did, and he's trying to rebuild that base while the 4th base is still being morphed. But there are those Dark Templar, and this is a really smart move by oGsVines. He's just trying to annoy his opponent as much as possible, trying to deny him additional bases, kill his economy, and those DTs do an awesome job at that, because Nerchio needs some time to set up those spore crawlers, to set up spine crawlers as well, and be safe against attacks by the Dark Templar. And his economy is really suffering right now. We have 182 supply against 140. Oh, come on, those banelings! Look at that! All those Stalkers! But it isn't enough. It isn't enough. Nerchio knows it. He's losing his whole army. He types GG and leaves the game. So the first map goes to oGsVines. Very well played by the Korean. And Nerchio really has to think about what he's going to do on the next map. The best of 3 series starts out by a winner of the Protoss player. So let's jump into game number 2 and let's see what the Polish Zerg player is going to do. Game number 2 between oGsVines and Nerchio. The Protoss player won the first map. He won against Nerchio by cancelling his Nexus, actually. He wanted to start with the Nexus first. Nerchio blocked the spot. He had to go for the Forge first. Nerchio trying to pull off all his drones and kill him immediately, but he forgot about the scout in his base. He didn't see the probe of his opponent. And as soon as oGsVines realized what was happening, he just cancelled the Nexus and walled off completely in order to defend against that push. And in the game that was unfolding after that, Nerchio was just not able to keep up with the Protoss player in the end. Right now we're on Crevasse on the second map. It's the NASL Season 2 Qualifier. As you can see at the top left, we have Nerchio spawning as the blue Zerg once again, and at the bottom right you can see oGsVines using the account on oGsNADA on the North American server. And Crevasse is a map where you can actually expand in your own main base. There's a very small expansion. It's right over there with only 5 patches and 1 gas. Or you can play a little bit more risky and try to get that expansion right outside your own main base. It's cross position for those 2 players, and as you can already spot, as you already spotted on the main map, we have the Protoss player scouting. He's getting a Forge first, and what he's doing right now, he is sending out a second scout, because like that he can see in time if his opponent is going for an early pool. You need a second probe if you play a Forge first opening, and you want to scout if your opponent is getting an early pool, so you can wall off instead of get that Nexus. And now he's retreating with his probe as soon as he realized that his opponent is on the second position that he scouted with the first scout unit he sent out, and he saw, okay, no early pool, I can safely wall it off. I know, don't need to hurry, I can start with my expansion. And that's exactly what he's doing right now. So with the scouting information he just gathered, he is able to place that Nexus down without risking of being rushed. And the buildings at his choke point will follow fairly soon. There's the probe already scouting. He sees the Forge first, knows about the cannon as well. And as you could tell from the production tab, Nerchio was going for the spawning pool and his extractor for a fairly safe build, which is a good thing to do if you're facing a Protoss player, because the thing is, a Protoss player that's going for a Forge first, that is, because the main problem is that NADA could have, Vines could have decided to just cannon rush the expansion of his opponent, and he still might try to do that, as there is no scout. Does he know about the expansion? Yes, he does, and if he builds a pylon and a cannon, that expansion will probably die, because Nerchio has no idea that there's a probe nearby. This might get ugly. I'm actually waiting what he's going to do. Yes, there's the pylon. There's the pylon by oGsVines. Oh my god. And that Zergling just has no idea. The hatch itself doesn't have any vision at all while it's being morphed. This is horrible. This is horrible for Nerchio, and here's the Zergling, and immediately he's cancelling the pylon. This was pretty damn close. This was really, really close, and Nerchio is probably now sitting back home in Poland. He's like, whoa, dodged a bullet right there. He's stealing the gas at the expansion of his opponent. Stealing the gas, and what is the Protoss player doing? He's getting the second assimilator at his main base. We have the Zergling speed still coming up. The Queen is trying to get those injects going, and of course we have another expansion by Nerchio. If you face a Protoss opponent that is going for a hatch first, what you want to do as a Zerg player is either stay ahead in expansions and go for the third base, or you just want to try to attack as soon as possible. Maybe get banelings and try to bust your opponent, or get roaches, trying to break through, something like that. But if you decide to play the macro game, you definitely need the third hatch as fast as possible. The Xelaga Watchtowers belong to Nerchio right now, so he knows what's happening on the map. He still has that one extractor out there, and the Zealot is taking good care of that, killing it, and then the next assimilator will follow fairly soon. Nerchio now going for that first evolution chamber. He will probably get +1 melee attack, and the Queen spreading the creep towards the expansion outside the main base. We see 2 additional Queens coming up, the +1 attack upgrade for the Protoss, so nothing too unusual happening right now. We still need to see what Vines is gonna do. Last game he decided to get a bunch of gateways and then added 2 Stargates as well as a robotics. Now 3 more gates coming up. So he's on 4 gates in only a few short moments, and the warp gate technology is coming up as well. And Nerchio is not going for the +1 melee attack upgrade. He's going right away for those missile missile attacks. And do we already have an Roach Warren? I don't think so. No, he's just starting to build it. So he actually gets the upgrade before he starts the Roach Warren, which is pretty cool because by the time the roaches pop out, he will be able, he will nearly be finished with the +1 attack upgrade. That's pretty cool. And we have a pylon over there, and this is going to be a 6-gate push. And the 6-gate pushes are pretty deadly. I'm not too sure if he saw that pylon. I actually doubt it. Yes, he didn't. And he has that one Zergling over there. Let's have a look at the supply and drones. Oh, 37 against 41. That's not a lot of drones for Nerchio. He's building additional ones right now. Another 9 drones will join the worker force of the Zerg player in only a few moments. We have additional Zerglings being built. And what is he able to scout that? Yes, he's scouting the first gateways, but there are already the sentries. And he see how many of those gates does he actually see? He sees 4 of them. He knows about those 4 gates, and of course he knows about the 5th one as well. And immediately he's starting to look for pylons. He's starting to look for pylons, and he... Oh no! He didn't see it! Oh, I don't believe it. He didn't see the warp-in pylon. Oh, this is just so annoying. This is really annoying. And there's the Twilight Council and an expansion attempt by oGsVines, so he's not going for the 6-gate push after all. He still might be now. He has way too many sentries right now. And those few stalkers, I don't think he will start the attack. He's going to get his expansion, and then he will probably try to warp in some additional Dark Templars once again. But still, not scouting that pylon is really bad luck, because Nerchio had the... Well, he knew something was up and he was looking for that pylon, but he just missed it. He missed it by a centimeter. And this must be so annoying for him, because there will be Dark Templars. We can be pretty sure about that. For right now, he's focusing on the Blink Stalkers, and we have the robotics facility coming up as well. There are roaches with the +1 attack upgrade. The +2 attack upgrade is already on its way. And it doesn't even look like oGsVines is going for the Dark Shrine just yet. So he probably decided after the Overlord scouted his base that it's not worth attacking with the 6-gate and chose to get the expansion instead. And yeah, probably the safe choice, because honestly, with all those units that Nerchio already had with a +1 attack upgrade, he would have been able to defend against a push like this. So oGsVines changed his strategy, but that pile might still be useful in the later stages of the game. Let's have a look at the army supply. 39 against 26 and 78 worker supply against 60. So Nerchio is in actually a really good spot right now. He's on 3 bases. He's going to face once again Colossi. We see the +2 attack upgrade coming up and another observer being built. And back down here we have the Zerglings in position. There's an Overlord hovering at the 3rd base of his opponent as well. 140 supply for the Polish Zerg player against 92. And here's that expansion and the Zealots. So at least the Zealots will be able to take out that 4th base, but still it could have been a lot worse if you ask me. So just having to cancel that expansion and then killing the Zealots is not too much of an hassle for Nerchio right now. But he needs to be careful. He can't kill those, or he shouldn't try to kill those Zealots with his Zerglings, and he uses the roaches instead. The pylon is going to die, but there are some stalkers trying to clear the Xilnaga, which shows he will be able to do so. And we have additional roaches. The +2 attack upgrade nearly done. It's also done for his opponent. And, well, having a look at his resources, he doesn't have too much gas going for him right now. He should get additional extractors as soon as possible. He doesn't rebuild that base, though. So, now he does now. And he should get an additional evolution chamber. He's on 1 evolution chamber so far. He should get more upgrades, especially the armor upgrades as well for his roaches. He's getting infestors, and infestors are pretty damn huge against such a gateway force. There are the Colossi as well. He doesn't have Neural Parasite just yet. And the Zealots are dying, all of them. Neural Parasite being researched. Good job. So here we go. And he will try to take out those Colossi with the Neural Parasite and just get off some fungals. The range upgrade already on its way, as is the +3 attack upgrade for the Protoss player. Let's have another look at the army supply. 116 against 54. This is really huge. 190 supply against 120. As you can see, we have that Nexus being cancelled. Yes, because he knows he can't defend it. And now 2 additional hatcheries are being built. And here comes Nerchio, and he's backing off again. The force fields are not that awesome. He should have tried to split off at least some of the roaches, but he was able to repel his opponent. So that's what counts right now. But 3 bases against 4 or 5. Nerchio is in a really good spot. He needs to get more upgrades. He definitely needs to get more upgrades. He has a very, very good economy. But now he's trying to attack again, and those force fields are a lot better. Tunneling Claws is not ready just yet, and the roaches are dying there. 2 Colossi out. We have a Neural Parasite being finished. Here comes the +1 armor upgrade. Burrow and Tunneling Claws being researched. There is a Warp Prism in production as well. And here comes the roaches. Once again, the pylon and the expansion is down, and the Warp Prism is on its way. Nerchio has this game. He has it, but he is not allowed to wait too long and to allow the Protoss player to gather a strong enough force to kill his army. He really needs to pay attention now and to get that timing right. There is the Overseer, and he knows about the movements of the Zerg player, and the Warp Prism is in place. Here come the Zealots, and quite a lot of them trying to take out that hatchery, and they will be able to do so. There's another Spine Crawler come up. 1 won't be enough. He needs to be aware of that. There are a lot of infestors. We have a lot of infestors. Let's have a look at the unit counting station. 50 roaches and 6 infestors. There's an additional one being built with Spine Crawlers and the Hive being upgraded. The expansion is down, and this Warp Prism is just annoying the hell out of Nerchio. The +3 attack upgrade for the Protoss player is done. He has 2 additional Colossus on their way, and there are already 5 of them. There are already 5 of them, and the stronger the Protoss force gets, the more troubled Nerchio is. 200 supply against 200, and there's still only 1 evolution chamber for Nerchio. He isn't getting those upgrades. Does he have a Spire yet? I don't know, because he needs to get some Broodlords later on as well. Yes, he has a Spire, so he needs to upgrade that Spire if he wants to win. And once again, all those Zealots are attacking the Spine Crawlers. 2 additional ones finished, so he will be safe. And here's the fight and the back, and now he's funneling and now using Neural Parasite as well, but it won't be enough. And Nerchio's army gets destroyed by the Protoss player. Nerchio actually losing a lot of resources right there. A lot of units is trying to reinforce his army, gets additional 34 roaches, and now there are Corruptors on their way. The Greater Spire as well. That attack at the expansion got cleared, and as you can see, it's 494 army supply against 120. Nerchio had a pretty good timing window where he could have just tried to kill the Protoss player, but this is going to be a really, really tough situation for him to be in, because those upgrades are really doing a number on him. +3 for all those Colossi, and as you can see, there are 7 of them by now. 7 Colossi. This is just such a huge number of Colossi, and now we have how many Corruptor do we have? Only 4 of them. 7 additional ones being built. Nerchio needs to defend, getting off at least 1 or 2 Neural Parasites, but will it be enough? The Protoss player still with 190 supply against 140. The Colossi are still in the game. The Stalkers blinking in, taking out all those Corruptors, and Nerchio has to GG. He's losing the second game as well. oGsVines taking the best of 3 series with 2-0.